Let's be honest for a moment. Most men are walking through relationships completely blind, not because they're weak, not because they're unattractive, but because they were never taught how women actually experience attraction. You were told it's about looks, about money, about being confident, funny, or impressive. But that's not what she feels. What she feels is something far quieter and far more powerful. It's the tension in your presence, the way you speak when you're not trying to impress, the way you hold yourself when things feel uncertain, the emotional signal you send without saying a single word. You've felt this before. That moment when she suddenly pulls back, when her replies get shorter, when the warmth fades and something cold replaces it. Your chest tightens, your mind starts racing. What did I do wrong? Did I say too much? Did I lose her? That discomfort isn't random. It's the beginning of an emotional test you were never warned about. A silent moment where her subconscious is deciding one thing. Does this man make me feel safe, intrigued, or small and bored? Most men fail here not because they lack value, but because they react from fear instead of emotional control. And the moment you react, the tension dies. But when you understand what's really happening in that moment, you stop chasing, and she starts paying attention. When a woman says she's not interested, most men hear rejection. But that's not what it actually means. It doesn't mean I judged you and you failed. It means my emotional system hasn't decided if you feel safe, valuable, or exciting. Women don't experience attraction logically. They experience it through their nervous system. Her mind might say no, but her emotions are still watching, still scanning, still asking one quiet question. Is this man emotionally strong or emotionally dependent? This is where most men lose everything. They start explaining. They start trying harder. They start proving. And without realizing it, they communicate one dangerous message. My happiness depends on your approval. That signal shuts attraction down, not because you're unworthy, but because emotional neediness feels unsafe. But when you stay calm, when you don't rush to convince her, when you keep your composure, something strange happens. Her subconscious doesn't relax. It becomes curious. She begins to wonder, why didn't he chase? Why didn't he react? Why do I feel slightly pulled toward him now? And curiosity is the first crack in resistance. Not effort, not persuasion. Curiosity. That's how not interested starts to quietly change. You've been told your whole life that confidence is the key to attraction. And yes, confidence matters. But confidence only makes a woman respect you. Curiosity makes her think about you when you're not there. That's the difference. A man who explains everything about himself becomes predictable. A man who reveals his feelings too quickly becomes emotionally exposed. And once a woman feels she fully understands you, the emotional tension disappears. And without tension, there is no desire. But when you leave small gaps, when you don't give her the full story, when you allow a little mystery to remain, her mind starts filling in the blanks. She replays your words, your expressions, your tone, not because you tried to impress her, but because her brain wants to solve you. And whatever the mind tries to solve, it begins to value. That's how attraction grows. Not through more effort, but through unanswered emotional questions. When a woman can't fully read you, she starts to feel you. And feelings are what create desire. Most men think being calm, kind, and stable will make a woman want them. It will make her feel safe, but it will not make her feel desire. Desire comes from emotional movement, from contrast, warmth, then distance, confidence, then quiet, presence, then absence. That rhythm wakes up her emotional system. If every interaction with you feels the same, her brain gets bored. But when you create subtle emotional shifts, her brain releases dopamine, the chemical of desire. This is why women often remember the man who made them feel something, not the man who was always nice. A playful challenge, a teasing smile, a moment of intensity followed by calm. These moments create emotional spikes. And emotional spikes are what make her think about you when you're gone. Not logic, not effort, feeling. When you understand emotional contrast, you stop trying to be perfect. You start being memorable. Most men think being available shows interest, but emotionally, it does the opposite. When you are always there, always replying, always agreeing, your value drops in her subconscious. The human brain does not chase what it already owns. What it chases is what feels rare. Scarcity is not about ignoring her. It's about having a full life that doesn't revolve around her attention. When a woman senses that you are not waiting for her validation, something inside her shifts. She becomes more alert, more focused, more curious about you, not because you disappeared, but because your attention became meaningful, and meaningful attention is magnetic. The more you value your own time, the more she starts valuing you. That's not a game. That's psychology. Most men think connection means talking more, explaining more, or opening up faster. It doesn't. True connection is about how safe a woman feels in your presence. It's in how you listen without interrupting, how you respond without rushing, how you stay grounded instead of trying to impress. When you give her space to express herself without judgment, her nervous system relaxes. And when her nervous system relaxes, emotional bonding begins. She may not remember your exact words, but she will remember how she felt sitting across from you. Seen, understood, calm, yet intrigued. This is why forced intimacy never works. Connection grows in moments of emotional presence, not emotional pressure. When you combine curiosity, emotional contrast, and scarcity with genuine connection, you stop being just another man. You become an emotional experience, and emotional experiences are hard to let go of. Most men think attraction happens while they are with a woman, but that's only half the truth. Real attraction is built when you're not there. It happens in the quiet moments, when she replays your smile, your tone, the way you made her feel. When you leave before emotional closure, her mind keeps the story going. And whatever the mind continues to process, it becomes emotionally invested in. This is why over-texting kills desire. It closes the emotional loop too quickly. But when you allow space after a meaningful interaction, her imagination takes over. And imagination is where desire grows. You don't need to convince her to like you. You need to give her something to feel, something to wonder about, something to return to in her thoughts. That's how attraction becomes self-generated, not from effort, but from emotional imprint. Most men are taught to chase, to explain, to prove, to try harder when a woman pulls away, but the men women are drawn to do the opposite. They stay centered. They stay emotionally grounded. They don't beg for attention. They allow it to come. Attraction is not created by persuasion. It is created by emotional presence. When a woman feels curiosity, emotional contrast, subtle scarcity, and genuine connection with you, her mind begins to move towards you on its own. She may still say she's not interested. She may still resist. But emotionally, she's already leaning in. And once her emotions shift, logic follows. That is the real power. Not loud confidence, not chasing, not convincing, but being the kind of man whose presence creates a quiet pull she can't explain and can't ignore.